Hello, my Mercurial mercenaries. This is intended as a short, sharp piece to camera. This might lose me some subscribers because I'm gonna go to Gibson, the guitar company's defense here. When I've seen Gibson referred to on the internet over the past few months, it's always been negative. Now, this is a little bit of a niche subject, niche topic, but it has overlaps with the goings on my channel. If you remember rightly, because I've banged on it about it enough, copyright is a bit of an issue on YouTube. If my cat so much as farts a noise that sounds like a Tame Impala song, the EU will try and strike my very existence from this planet and from history. To try and eliminate me like a Doctor Who baddie. Now, there are issues with the terminology we're going to use, trademarks, copyrights, but when you boil it down to its essence, Gibson, the guitar company, have been denied the ability to say that their Firebird guitar is anything out of the ordinary. The EU have said that the Firebird guitar does not differ substantially from a normal electric guitar. Now, I've got a few issues here. Number one, when it comes to copywriting a guitar, there's very little you can do. It's got strings, it's got pickups, it's got tuning heads. A guitar looks pretty much like a guitar, but you can at least say your guitar is a different shape. And point number two, when they say it doesn't differ substantially from a normal guitar, what the hell's a normal guitar? Because if you're saying like a normal guitar is like this, for instance, then this is a Gibson Les Paul. So at some point in time, someone created a shape that the EU has now decreed is a normal guitar shape. It's like the EU is saying, yeah, fine, you've got a shape to your guitar, but we want more. Dunk! We want more! Dunk! Guitar shapes. They're quite distinctive, right? Guitar shapes, right? So you've got a Strat shape. You've got a Les Paul, you've got a Flying V, you've got a Telecaster, distinctive shapes. These shapes are distinctive. Now, the EU also says that it's not interested in that niche market of people who are interested in guitars and play guitars. The fact that someone who is interested in guitars knows that that's Tele, Flying V, Les Paul, Strat. The fact that the likes of me know that isn't important enough for the EU. The EU, the European Union, is only interested in what the general public think. Now, they say the general public can't differentiate between these guitar shapes and this guitar shape because they say this one isn't substantially different. Well, I'll tell you what, as a guitar player of many decades experience, no good at it, mind, but I see a Firebird, and to me, that is a distinctive guitar shape. It's just as distinctive as any of these. And this isn't just a thing for Gibson. I've always thought this. Whenever I see someone do a Strat guitar, any company that does a Strat guitar, I often think, well, why didn't Fender say, this is our shape guitar, we don't want anyone else doing it? It's just like, if I had the money to do this, what I'm about to say, which I haven't, but if I started a car company tomorrow, and I produced a car that looked exactly like a Ferrari Testarossa from the 80s, I'm sure Ferrari would sue me. Or if I produced a car that looked exactly like a Mini, or exactly like a VW Beetle. But in the guitar world, we're all quite happy that any guitar company can make a guitar that looks like any other guitar. So guitar companies out there, all the guitar companies, make guitars in the shape of these basic shapes. It's like The Man Who Fell to Earth, starring Bowie, when you've got basic patents. These are the basic patents. The Strat shape, the Les Paul shape, the Tele shape. It's like no one can argue that they're anything different. We can all use them because that's just the shape of the guitar. And people get annoyed with Gibson because they say, but hang on, when people see a guitar shaped like that, they call it a Flying V. They're thinking in their heads of Gibson Flying Vs. When they see a guitar shaped like that, they're immediately thinking Gibson Firebird. When they see a guitar shaped like this, what do you call that? What do you call that, guitar players? That there. You call it a Les Paul shape, don't you? Now, the EU is saying your average man on the street will look at these shapes here and they'll just say, well, they're guitar shaped. Well, since when do we listen to the average man on the street? Since when do we listen to the average man on the street? So, my point is, the EU are really hot on allowing anything to go when it comes to certain kinds of copyright or trademarks. Even things that to me look obvious. That I can just glance at it, that's a Firebird. If I was making a guitar tomorrow, started my own guitar company, had to draw out the design of the body shape, I would not use a shape that looks like that because I think that's just a Firebird shape. But the EU are saying anyone can just do anything when it comes to guitars. If it looks like, if you design a new guitar tomorrow and it looks like one of these, they don't mind. They don't mind. But like I said, if your dog farts something that sounds like, and this could happen, to be fair, if your dog farts something that sounds like the drum beat from something on Infest the Rat's Nest, if your dog just walks into the room now and goes, the EU will say, copyright violation! Copyright violation! Strike! So, that's my kind of defense of Gibson. They get so much flack. It's like they're just saying, we made these ideas. We did these things 50 years ago. Fair enough. The people who came up with those ideas are all dead. Gibson waited 50 years to say, oh, do you know what? We might have something there. So yeah, I understand that. Wait 50 years, why not? But on the other hand, people just getting obsessed with slating the guitar company for just saying, hang on, there are guitar shapes. You've got it on your damn t-shirts. And I think everyone should join in. Everyone, come on, intellectual property here, guys. The dog's farting a King Gizzard song and gets the channel struck. Copyright, schmoppyright. Do you see the quagmire we're in? And it is a quagmire. It really is. One man's flatulent animal is another man's struck channel. What are your feelings on the nature of copyright? We've discussed it a lot when it comes to music on this channel, and the fact that I believe you can change the nature of the original product by adding to it. If I talk over the top, which the Genesis fans don't like, still, I'm putting music on, I'm adding to it, I'm changing the nature of the original product. How do we feel about the very essence of copyright? The fact that, to me, it's so hit and miss. And the fact that it appears that copyright is down to what the general public think about it. If the general public can't differentiate between that guitar shape and another brand's guitar shape, that's the important factor. So if I produce an album tomorrow that sounds exactly like Currents by Tame Impala, and then the general public hears it and just goes like that, does that mean I get away with it? We're entrusting the observations and opinions of the general public. If you go out tomorrow and do your own version of the Mona Lisa, you go out and buy oil paints, buy some oil paints, buy a canvas, make it the right size, paint an approximation of the Mona Lisa, do it quite well, spend a bit of time on it, and then the general public come in and the general public look at it and go, well, it doesn't look any different to a normal painting to me. The EU will say, that's fine then, go ahead. Go ahead. Over and...